Greetings, Minecrafters! Nonsanity here, and welcome to episode 14 of the Primus Unabridged series. I'm here in what is going to be the PneumaticCraft room, and that's what we're going to be doing this episode, as I said last episode. It's going to be fun. I've never done it before. Let's get started. So this is the way the room ended up. It's basically just a box, but it's sort of a nice box, I guess. I did the same anti-block ceiling just to make it look like it's roomier than it actually is. A little bit of immersive engineering here, and some blue power lights, and some catwalk supports, and a bit of a catwalk around the edge of the platform. A bit of catwalk here in the middle with all the walls taken off, the railings. So yeah, this is where we'll start. And probably the first thing to do with PneumaticCraft is making some compressed iron. And I'm ready here with a bunch of iron. I got lots. How much do I have now? About 50k, so this is fine. So I've made an obsidian box here. Make sure that lever is off. It is, okay. So I can put down the TNT. My magnet is off. So I can just, see, there, toss all that in. Shift Q. Flip that. And it's going to blow up all that iron. Well, actually, what it doesn't blow up gets converted to compressed steel. Compressed iron. So I only lost a stack and a half. Not bad. Now, making the big compression chamber is you do that to make this stuff, but I don't know. This works pretty well. It's a whole lot faster. All right, so we're going to have to do a little bit of crafting. Let's bring up PneumaticCraft. I think one of the first things we need to make is an air compressor. Actually, it looks like we need to make some pressure tubes. So I need some glass. Grab some glass. How many of these do I want? Maybe 2 stacks. Oh, let's get 3 stacks. Why not? I got the resources. We can splurge. I need a little bit of cobble, not that much. It's probably good enough. And make 4 of these. Some of those, surrounded by that. There we go, 4 of these air compressors. So, let me make a few more things, and I'll be right back. Well, I made a lot of stuff, and I did a little bit of extra decorating here to get ready for this next step, because it is project chest time. That's right, I've got 3 project chests in the room here. So we're going to be making 3 different sections, and I think the first is going to go right here. So let's grab all the regular materials that we're going to need. And the first is a little bit of Steve's Factory Manager. These are advanced cable clusters. You make them by taking a whole bunch of inventory cable and a regular cable cluster. And a regular cable cluster is just inventory cable with some ender pearls. And then you take this and you craft it with other blocks in Steve's Factory Manager. Just manager. Like redstone emitters and redstone receivers. And that's what I've done here. These are mixed with a redstone emitter and a redstone receiver. Really, all I needed was the emitter, but I made them with receivers by accident, so I just added the emitters. So it's got some receivers I don't really need. Maybe later I'll swap these out with some correct ones. But for now, they'll do. So I'm going to put a regular ones in each of these corners. And then these mixtures here. And the Steve's Factory Manager itself will go in this corner. All right. This is going to be how I'm going to control my air production. And to save us a little bit of time, I've gone ahead and I've created. Oh, I guess I got to shift right click. That is now empty, and this has programs in it. Now we'll go through those in a bit. But first we've got to set up some more parts. I need to put this thing, the redstone receiver, I'll put it right here. And actually I'm going to have to break it, but let's get the other parts ready here. I'm going to need some cable, some of this air pressure tube. And let's go ahead and break that, because I need to get sort of underneath it to place this. There. This is a pressure gauge. Cheap recipe. Tube, gauge, compressed iron, gold. Everything in this is, everything I've pre-made is all really simple recipes with stuff I already had, plus that compressed iron. What happened to the... Did it fall? No. What happened to the concrete that was in the center? Am I just missing it in my inventory? Huh, not there. Okay. Grab a spare. There we go. So we're going to put that redstone receiver block right there underneath that gauge, because the gauge gives off a redstone signal. But I can't read that one, so I made a second one I'm going to put on top. This will read the pressure in the pipes in the system and display it for you, and it also puts out a redstone. You see up in the Wayla, it's currently emitting a redstone signal of 0 because the pressure is 0. So now, here in the center, I'm going to put out some more of these pipes, all 9 that I have here. And next, the air compressors that we made. I actually made a few extras, a total of 12. It'll be enough for now. I'm not going to go overboard with these because I am going to eventually replace them with something else. So, how to fuel them? Well, I've got some holes cut out over here, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to take one of these mini chests, stick it there. That's touching an inventory cable, so Steve's Factory Manager can access it. And we're going to use some item conduit and connect it to an autocrafter. Autocrafter I'm going to have above, and it's not here. Did it end up in this chest? Nope. Alright, I seem to have lost the Tesseract, too. I got some spares. Alright, Tesseract for power. Make sure it's on my power system. Place the autocrafter on top. It's already set up. It's to make mini coal, which you put a regular piece of coal and you get 8 mini coal. And you can see I was testing it earlier. And then that is going to come from this hardened cache, which is full of coal. So I'll pop that down. It will be set to extract all the time and insert into here. There it is, filling up with coal. And it's going to extract from here and insert into this mini chest. So there it is, filling up with regular coal, or with mini coal. So now we can take these covers and these facades and cover up all that. So we can still see here by looking at it how much coal is in it. Not a ton, just 30 stacks left, but it's preloading a bunch in here. This one bit of redstone I'm going to stick down there, because that's going to help me diagnose how the program is working. Alright, so what do we got in here? We've got 2 triggers, 2 inputs, 2 outputs. These are all the same. I have found that one of these was not quite enough to keep all of the air compressors loaded with coal, but a second one did the trick. So they're going to take from the mini chest and put into all the air compressors. Now, one thing I didn't do in the last videos with Steve's Factory Manager is the proper use of variables. We're going to do it right this time because there's a lot of different things. Variables, you set a color. This one's white, and I'm going to set it to all the air compressors that are attached to the network. There we go. The next one is the chest. It's going to be orange. And find the chest. There it is. This is going to be all the emitters, and it's going to be on purple, or I guess that's magenta. All the emitters that are underneath the air compressors should be 12. And this last one is the gauge. Well, not the gauge itself, and it's on light blue, but the receiver that's directly underneath it, which if we stand on this spot, I am at negative 951,679. So 5179. 5179. 5178, 5179, that one. All right. So we've set up the variables. Now let's use them. Actually, they should all be set up to use them over here. Yep, chest, and then output to the air compressors. This is the same. Chest. I'm hitting the little V down here to go to the variable screen. Air compressors. So it's taken the coal out, and these are set to the mini coal. Both of them. Yes. All right, they're taking out the mini coal, putting it in the air compressors. They're all running. Yeah, the script is already active once I hooked up all the inventories and so forth. All right, so they're all running. Now, this last little bit runs on one of the triggers. Just has to run every now and then. I just attached it to the trigger. Why not? It's a redstone condition. It is set to the gauge, so it's going to read the redstone value coming from the gauge. If we look at the gauge here, it says emitting redstone 5. It's at 2.8, 2.9. When it gets to 3, it's going to jump up to 6. So it's basically putting out double whatever the pressure is, rounded off to the nearest whole number. So we're going to look at the gauge, and we're going to see if it's between 0 and 8. If that's true, if it's between 0 and 8, then the emitters, which are underneath each one of the... oh, I better be careful here. Quickly. These all need to be on low signal. Let's let's vent. So I'm not going to have enough time to get them all. I should have done this first. There we go. So this one's low. This one low. Yeah, let's keep. That should keep it from going too high. Set these all to low. I found that they don't behave very well on high, but on low it seems to work. It may have been a glitch. I haven't tested it in isolation. I would prefer it to work on high, because then if something happens to the redstone system, there we go, and it starts dropping. So these should all turn off now. So it's at 8. There's no redstone signal. There should be up there. There, the redstone signal just kicked on. Oh, because it went over 9. Okay. Ooh, that's getting a little close. I should probably... Well, they all turned off. They're all off? Good. All right, well, I guess that's okay. That goes up a little bit past 8.5. Oh, pause here. One thing I forgot to mention is why mini coal? And that's because when the redstone turns off the compressors that continue burning what they had in them, mini coal runs out very quickly and they shut off relatively fast. Put in a block of coal or regular coal in there and it'll take a lot longer. So this makes it more responsive. Or 4.5, which is 9, and then it stops. I probably should change the program to be 7. So when it goes over 7. We'll see. It's a little safer for now. So basically when it's between 0 and 7, which means there's not quite enough air in there yet. We want everything to keep running. And we set all those air compressors to operate only when there's no redstone signal. So we want the output to be 0 on all those emitters. And then when it gets over 7, up to 8, so it's no longer in the 0 to 7 range, then all those emitters are going to go to 15. So now they're all emitting redstone, which you can see from that bit of redstone down there, turning all of them off. So it says enable on low signal, and they're all getting a high signal. So that should maintain our pressure and keep it nicely controlled. That is stage 1 of this process. Just getting our air supply. All right, stage 2, doing something with it. We've got another chest over here. Grab these things. We're going to start with a base of these catwalk things, because I sort of like them. They look good. There's a number of carpenter's versions and so forth, but I'm going to go with these for now. I have made pressure chamber walls. Just a circle of compressed iron, and you get 16 of them, so they're only half an iron each. And I know that these catwalks replace whatever you click them with, or get replaced by whatever you click them with, so I'll do that little maneuver. Yeah, I'm touching the catwalks, or the scaffolding, which lets me go up. So I'm making a big one, because, hey, why not? We got materials. Let's make a big one. They could be 3x3 or 5x5, and I went with the 5x5. Not sure what benefit going so big is. Watch out, these things can be placed where you are, unlike regular blocks. Startled me there. There we go. And I'm going to use the pressure glass to fill in the other walls. And I'm going to leave some spots free for other devices. Better get out before I seal myself in. There we go. And those devices are a pressure chamber valve, which is going to go here. And I need to see, I want the output to be here and the input to be there. And there we go. It is a multi-block. Now we have to get pressure to it, so let's get that hooked up. So coming out there, and these things are multi-block compatible, so I can stick it through this space with some of these multi-blocks. And I'm going to run right up the middle. I should have connected it from the other end first. Oop. Yeah, there we go. And now that should be putting some air in here. Yep, going up very, very slowly. Because that probably holds a lot more air than a 3x3. So all the air compressors have come back on again. You can see our gauge has gone down because it's dumping very quickly into that big empty space. Eventually it'll equalize, and it'll start creeping back up as these things help fill up that chamber. So what does this thing do? Well, let's set up the last little bits. I got an extra pipe. Wonder how that happened. My chest was one block out of position. Alright, and I'm going to use some of these inventory cables, or item conduits. This will be the insert. This will be extract. This will be extract and insert. So now I should be able to take some iron here. And I want to get one piece of compressed iron, and then click on the pressure chamber itself and put a ghost image of it over here in the filter. So it'll only pull out compressed iron. If you don't do this, or use like typing in a name here for an item filter, or something in its name, then it'll pull out whatever you put into the chamber as soon as it goes in. So if I toss in a stack of iron, and I'm going to put some accelerators into there and there. So there, I just tossed in the iron. Now it's not going to do anything yet because the pressure is still in the yellow. It has to get up into the green for iron. It has to be above 2, which it says over here. Well, no problems. That is a problem. It's not pressurized enough, but it's going up. Looks like it is evened out with this. Just about. No? Not quite yet. Take a little bit. But once that turns into compressed iron, it'll go into this pressure chamber, and it'll get pulled out by that cable. Now I do want to do one more thing, and that's in the interface for the pressure chamber. I made this. There's a recipe. A clock, apples, and lapis lazuli. This is the item life upgrade. I put that in there. And now whatever's in the chamber will not despawn naturally after 5 minutes, the way things normally despawn. That way it'll stay in there until it can be processed. So if there's a delay and then not enough air, it'll be okay. We won't lose anything. So that, I have 2 blocks of compressed iron and an extra pipe. Alright, well, I just had extras. You always have some extra bits left over. Alright, so we've got a source of air. We've got something using the air just to do anything that needs the compression. Which, I mean, iron I could still do with TNT, and I think that's faster and almost more efficient. Instead of using all the coal that I need to make all that air, it just uses one piece of TNT for as many stacks of iron as I want. Not bad. But there are other things that this can make and must make. Here's recipes. You can take 8 blocks of coal and make a diamond. I don't need to do that. And we know about the compressed iron. You can do blocks. This is turbine blades. We may need those later. I can't make the plastic in here. That takes the seeds. And this version of the mod has no seeds, no plants. But once we do make plastic, we can start making empty PCBs, make some etching fluid from some stuff, make some transistors and capacitors, and we'll need those. But first we need plastic. So while we're waiting for that to boot all the way up, we have one more. Oh, there's a hole over here. I wonder what happened to that. Concrete. There. Oh, I know what happened to the... why is it showing me I don't have... that was weird. Definitely some glitches with Ender.io, visual glitches. Yeah, there's something else that I made. I made a random dimension. I wanted to find a new dimension to get nodes. So this is a while back when I was still doing Thaumcraft. And I got a random world where the entire surface of the ground and deep underground was made of a single ore block. Instability orb ore. Now that is a hardcore ender expansion material. It's close, but let's not bother waiting for it. It is a hardcore energy expansion material. And let me show you what instability orbs do. So we'll come over here. I've got a few. I got 4,300 right there. Let me turn off my magnet and toss it out. As you can see, it starts spitting particles, and after 10 seconds, it's going to turn into something. Ah, what did it turn into? Oh, a UV light box. I can use that. Not that it's hard to make. Well, it actually does take a PCB blueprint, which is something you have to buy for 8 emeralds. I still want to do that because that's sort of cool. So we'll make our own, but yeah, I got one. It turns into a random object from any mod, or even vanilla. So what I did, just because I was curious, and I'm probably not going to use anything in it that I can't make myself. So I'm actually going to toss this back in my system. So I have this big box made of reinforced sapphire glass and obsidian because sometimes they make a random item, sometimes they make a random mob, and sometimes they just explode. So I put, a whole bunch in here, flip a switch, and it spits them out every 10 seconds. And over here, for the mobs that get generated, I've got a grinder that just kills them because I don't want to make a huge collection of mobs in there. And then this modular storage is, well, you say something flash by there. This one is hooked up to the input, the same input as I have in my second tab here. So anything that goes in here, that looked like food or a plant. It looked like ice cream. So that gets sent into the AE system from this advanced item collector. So yeah, this just sort of randomly makes stuff. I was curious as to what was going to come out of it. And a lot of stuff has come out of it. Let's scroll down here to the bottom. Things I only have one of, all the way. Crafting core from iBench. Don't need that. Radioactive superglue. Radioactive glue. Music disc. I used one of these discs for... Let's see, can you just craft them? Oops. Yeah, they're craftable. But I used that in a sort of a semi-prank on Rage. I stuck it in a jukebox with a player detector, and as soon as he logged on, it was underneath his floor in his house. It would start playing. Oh, there was an explosion. And we've got... Oh, it's a... It's one of the redsters. Oh, and a wisp, which was just killed, and so was the redster by the grinder. So yeah, that's going to turn it off though, because it's sort of noisy. And as I said, I got so many stuff like witch hunter gear, stuff from MacLeod. Whole bunch of things from Reliquary. Stuff that I probably can't even make. Magic Bane, I don't know what that one is. The Holy Hand Grenade. Salamander's Eye. Glacial Staff. Destruction Catalyst. Got some potato armor. Whole bunch of guns from Quiverbow. I mean, some of this stuff might be fun to play with. Got a number of pieces from PneumaticCraft that I'm probably just going to ignore because I want to make everything. I mean, if it's something I make on camera, for sure. A bunch of different foods. And so far, the best idea anybody's suggested, and there's been a couple people that suggested it, what to do with the drones from PneumaticCraft, make food and have them do a little restaurant. So that's maybe something I can do. It just seemed to be quite a bit of interesting sandwiches and soups and drinks that some of the mods add. Got a whole bunch of furniture. Got a toilet, microwave, shower. What's that? Item import cover from Gendustry. Got some random pieces of GalacticCraft. Nose cone, a heavy nose cone. These are one of the things that get spawned as mobs that don't get ground up are villagers and coven witches. So I've actually got a ton of coven witches. I've got more than I'll ever need. I think the most you'll need is like 12. And so I may offer some up to some of the other guys if they want some. Got like one of every type of Buildcraft pipe, it seems. Whole bunch of Botania stuff. Soul Scribe, some rings, some armor, including some Elementium stuff. Mana Steel Helmet of Revealing. Some of the new horns. Bunch of furniture pieces. I think the bees I already had. Got the giant sword and the block and chain, a bunch of other Twilight Forest armors. Oh, got two of the scepters you get from the Lich. I got a tunnel bore from Railcraft. Not something I need. Bunch of miscellaneous tools and parts, including one elemental subscription tool, Dawn, which is something that you don't get till much later in the game. I think you needed a tier 6, which means this is post-demon invasion type stuff. But I only got one of them. Still, you can do some stuff with that. Quarry Fixer. I don't think I had one of those. NFC Reader. Corporea Retainer. Yeah, I mean, just interesting. Some of these things just give me ideas for what to do later on. Lots of plants. All sorts of plants. A whole bunch of the pressure pipes mod. I keep forgetting we have that one. Something I've got to play around with. So I'm sort of like this because it just reminds me of other mods. When you just look through NEI, it's hard to notice some things. I got a whole bunch of different Z-Tones blocks. And a whole lot of random stairs. These I might just start throwing away because I don't use too many stairs. Spectral rail from Botania. That's one I might want to have to play with. Ooh, Luminizer. Cocoon of Caprice. Luminizer launcher. Oh, I had the launcher a while back, so the Luminizer's new. It didn't give me a regular Petal Apothecary, which is cheap to make, but it did give me a Desert Petal Apothecary, which requires this metamorphic desert cobblestone, and there doesn't seem to be a recipe for that, and I've never encountered it, so I'm not sure what's up with that. Clocks. Bunch of the fancy signs. BBoldt pieces and lights and furniture. Yeah, you can see, and lots of pumpkins, more stairs. Got stairs out the wazoo. Again, some of this stuff I already had, but yeah, like a whole bunch of turbines, some wireless remote sniffers, some IO bus stuff. Very interesting. These are things I've even gotten up to 2 of. Some Gendustry parts. I got 2 of the Terrasteel helmets. 2 of the Elemental helmets of Revealing. I mean, that's pretty far into Botania before you get those. Neptunium, that's from the Aquaculture. I haven't done anything with Aquaculture. It's a fishing mod. Not necessarily my cup of tea. But, you know, now that I've seen it and I've got pieces of it, I might go ahead and play around with it. Who knows? More plants. More pumpkins. So yeah, a lot of random stuff in there. So that was a fun little diversion there. I enjoyed doing that. I sort of need all the stuff you get. Anyway, back to this. Our iron is gone. It has not despawned. It's been taken out because it was turned into compressed iron. So this now works. It is fully up to almost 4. These are off. And it's above 4. So it's going to go down to 4 as it's draining into there. And when it does, they'll all kick back on and pump it up a bit more. And so good. It's at a nice balancing point. Next, let's go ahead and put away this compressed iron. All right. Last chest. This one is a bit more complicated. So let me line up where I want this to go. How do I want this to arrange? Here's where we're going to make the plastic. And yes, I want it like this. You put 4 of these on top of each other. You can do as little as 2. Don't need more than 4, but 4 is going to give you everything. And, you know, like all these machines are cheap. This is glass, diamond, compressed iron. I just need to make 4 of them. 4 diamonds. I've got 89,000. I'm fine. All right, so these things need to be heated up to at least about, I think that's about 100 right there, 100 C. And you put in oil, and it's going to break it down into diesel, kerosene, gasoline, and I forget what the top one is, but the top one gets turned into plastic. And that's LPC, I don't know, something like that. So that's what we need. They don't need pressure. These don't need any air pressure. They just need heat. And you get heat by using these vortex tubes. Let me put one down here. You can see it's got a hot end and a cold end, and those indicators will go away. And it does take air. So we're going to be running some air over here. And I've found that getting 4 of these is the best way to heat these things up. But to sort of smooth out the heat, I'm going to put some of the blocks of compressed iron in between. Notice they turned a little bit pink there. They change color depending on temperature. All the blocks in this mod, or I think most of the blocks in this mod, at least all the ones that deal with temperature, will change color unless they're producing or unless they're using. That's a machine that uses the heat. They don't change color. But the either end of this thing and these blocks will change color depending on their temperature. So we saw that they had the cold end and the hot end. If I start giving them compressed air, the cold end is going to get colder and the hot end is going to get hotter. And I want to get rid of that cold air. So I'm going to cover it up, and I'm back farther than I was last time. 1 second, let me move all this forward. Alright, that's better. Now I got some room behind it. Alright, so these are going to get rid of the cold by bringing in heat from the surrounding air, and we're going to use heat sinks. So I'm going to run some, oops, these things care about the angle you're looking when you place them, not what side you're clicking. Personally, I'd make it the other way around, but that's the way they are. So you can see that they change color based on temperature as well. And 1, 2, 3. All right. So that is going to take away or bring in some extra heat to counteract the cold, and the air coming in here is going to make extra heat on the front. So it's technically, it's Minecraft. It's just creating cold over here and it's spreading it out because there's cold values or negative numbers. I don't know what it's got under the hood. But if it was real life, it's moving the heat from the cold side to the hot side using the air power. And then I just need to get more heat from the air and surrounding air into the end. That's the way it would work, but I don't know if that's not necessarily the way it works here. So everything else here is stable at 4. Yep. So let's go ahead and hook up these pipes. Is that right? Yep, that's the right height. And get this thing heated up. Did I just run out? No, I didn't. It's one of the problems about using a trackpad is it can tell the difference between left and right click depending on where on the trackpad I'm clicking. And if I use like my thumbnail, look, it's starting to heat up. If I use my thumbnail, it doesn't register properly, and then it thinks it's a left click when it's actually a right click. So those are heating up, and you can see they're up to 120, 130. And then here, we're well over what we need to be at. Just great. So that's working perfectly. Look how red they're getting. Thankfully, you can bump into them, and they're not going to burn you. The hotter this gets, the faster the process goes. So that's why I wanted to have 4 of these with lots of heat sinks. And this is so that we can share the heat for other processes. Because these won't be the only things using the heat. And I can just attach more blocks of compressed iron. They radiate heat, so you're losing a little bit from them. But I'm making enough now that it should be fine. So I can actually get out some oil. And I do have some. Oh, I already had some right here. And we're just going to do some bucketing for the moment, just to show how this works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there it is processing. You can see it's getting diesel, kerosene, gasoline, and LPG. Splitting up the oil into those. All right, that's good. Next. One of the other materials we're going to need in this mod, besides the plastic, and we'll get to the plastic in a moment, is lubricant. So we're going to start down here at the bottom and make some lubricant. So I'm going to put down a piece of fluid conduit, and then one of these, a thermo-pneumatic processing plant. This is going to take the diesel down here at the bottom, and it's going to turn it into lubricant. For that, it needs to be mixed with redstone. So I'm going to toss some redstone in there. And it's going to need some heat. Now, I could hook it up to this. Well, let's just see what happens if I do. That's a block of concrete. Whereas I got some more compressed. Yep, 5 more here. If I connect it like this, this rapidly heats up. There's 2 recipes that this thing does. You take, well, actually there's a whole bunch of recipes, but there's 2 that take diesel. One is diesel and redstone makes lubricant at 100 C. And looks like any pressure at all, maybe even no pressure, will work. I guess it needs a little bit of pressure. The other recipe you can do with no redstone will convert it to kerosene, which is this second level here. But it must be 300 C. So we don't want it to get up to 300 C. And it looks like it's stabling out at 154, because now that we've added these 2 more blocks, the whole system is a little bit cooler as a result, so this is going to be a little slower. So that's actually safe because it's not up at the high range, so it's definitely going to use the redstone. But I want to keep that one running hotter. So that should start heating up now that I've taken away those blocks. So instead I'm going to add another one of these vortex tubes. And I'm going to just stick it straight on the back. And now I need to connect up the air pressure. Let's lay the air pressure, their air tubes down first. Why isn't that not connecting? Oh, it has to connect to the side. That's right. So like that. I guess we'll do it down the bottom like this. That works. Alright. So that's getting some air pressure. And now we put down the vortex tube, and it should connect right there. And it starts bringing up the temperature. One vortex tube attached straight to it should get you about a little over 100. Actually, because I'm at 4 pressure, it'll be a little higher than that. But with no heat sinks or anything, it's not going to go get much. It's not going to get too high. Yeah, looks like it's slowing down. Yeah, about 130 or so. Good, perfect. So now all we have to do is open the floodgates here. Make this an extract all the time. Decide an insert. Oh, look, it already took 1,000 and made 1,000 lubricant. That's why I gave it 5 buckets of oil, because I knew that would give me 1,000 diesel, 1,500 of kerosene and gasoline, and 1,000 of LPG. And you need a full 1,000, according to the recipe. Here. 1,000 millibuckets of diesel gets you 1,000 millibuckets of lubricant. It doesn't run until it gets at 1,000, so if it doesn't work right away, that's why. Not yet. So now we've got some lubricant. Now we just got to get it out of there. And let's just go ahead and get one of our drums. Stick it there. Fluid. Extract. So there we go. We're getting some lubricant. So once we get oil going into this continuously, we will get a nice supply of lubricant. At some point when we're done making lubricant, if we wanted to, we can heat this up hotter, like I said, get it way up here, around 300. And instead of making lubricant, it will make kerosene, which we can join with this kerosene into another one of these things, because they've got another recipe that'll take kerosene, and it has to heat it up to about 300, and then you get gasoline. And then you can take the gasoline up to 300, and that'll make LPG, and then you can make lots and lots of plastic. But we're probably okay for now. So now, oh, I don't want that. Yeah, well, no, I do want that. Yeah. Now we want to make the plastic. So let's bring this down here. We've got another one of these. It's going to need coal. So let's grab a stack of coal. Chuck it in. I already had a stack. Put this back. How's that doing? 228. Whoa, it's down to only 3 stacks. I did fill in all this. But we're not going to be doing coal forever, so that's fine. Coal, it needs some little bit of pressure, and it needs some heat. It doesn't need a lot of heat, though, so let's just go ahead and do... Well, for now, let's hook it up with compressed iron. Just to see... well, it's pretty hot. And it's cooling back off again. Oh, reboot. It's coming up. Let me make another vortex, and I'll be right back. All right, we got a vortex. Place it down. Connect it and the processing plant to some tubes, and bring them up here and hook them to that. So now it's heating up, and it's got some pressure. So we can open the floodgates and insert. That is now creating liquid plastic. Now the last step, plastic mixer right here. Doesn't require anything. We're just going to fill it up with the plastic and give it some dyes, red, green, blue. Now, when we want something like, say, a piece of orange plastic, boom, we got a piece of orange plastic. Piece of orange plastic, got a piece of orange plastic. Want some red, got some red. Just got to click and make it. It uses the plastic and a little bit of the dyes. So, there we go. Quick, high-speed, high-end, automated to some extent. At least the power, the air production is fully automated. This is moderately automated. I can dump things in here. Still need to teach it all the outputs so that it doesn't pull the inputs out. But this is probably the more complicated part, and it's making lubricant and this. So let's grab one more piece of liquid duct conduit. Oh, am I out? Of course I'm out. Just grab that for the moment. And stick a drum here and extract and insert, fill up with oil, and we'll start really producing stuff. And I'll have to pipe out these two into some of these extra drums I've got. We'll put... oh, no, don't go there. I'll figure out. I'll attach them to either side of these things so that we can offload those materials and it won't jam up the works. A little bit more piping and we're done. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Hope you enjoyed this. I haven't seen a lot of people do PneumaticCraft like this. And definitely not doing this part. I've never seen anybody do this part in a video. I'm sure people have. I just haven't seen it. Because everybody used the plants in the past. I think I like this a lot better, more than the plants, from what I've seen. It's a little bit more realistic in the way it produces materials from oil. Though, in the real world, if you're going to make plastic, go with bioplastic. Better for the environment. It keeps it uses the carbon that was sequestered from the atmosphere by plants instead of dredging it up from underground and adding it to the atmosphere. Just a good idea. All right. This is Nonsanity signing out. Ooh, I forgot about that. Take care, be good, and see you next time.